my fellow weirdos, welcome back to my channel. Yes, it's me. I'm alive. You can all cancel those missing person reports. I am, in fact, still living and breathing. I just never have time to do any of these things, especially editing, which I hate. I hate editing. And it just puts me off filming. I don't want to film because then I have to edit. But anyway, I'm just gonna plod along and I'll just do it when I can. That's where we're at. Anyway, we're doing a book haul video, and at some point soon I'm hoping I'll film a reading wrap up. We'll see. Who knows with me, right? There's no schedule here. It's loosey-goosey. It's improvised. It's whenever I feel like it. Sorry for that. Anyway, book haul time. A lot of these have been sent to me by publishers. I will make that clear whenever I am talking about the books, if it was gifted to me or not. But let's just jump right in, shall we? Okay, so first things first, I'm very excited to read this one. This was gifted to me by the publisher Quill and Crow, which specializes in Gothic horror, my particular favorite. It is called The Quiet Stillness of Empty Houses by L.V. Russell. Let's do a little blurb. When Theodora takes the job as governess to young Ottoline Thorne, she leaves behind her beloved grandmother and the decaying ruins of her childhood home to travel far north to Broken Oak Manor. There she finds a house filled with secrets. Under the stern eye of the foreboding housekeeper, Theodora quickly navigates the dark and winding corridors of Broken Oak, only to find herself irrevocably drawn to the mysterious lord of the manor. But someone walks the hallways late after nightfall, their footsteps leading to the attic, the only place in the sprawling house that does not remain silent. As her scandalous feelings for Cassius Thorne grow, Theodora finds to unearth the secrets of Broken Oak. Who wanders the house at night? Where is the lady of the manor? And what lies behind the attic door high up under the eaves of the house? Can I just say, this is probably one of my favourite covers I've seen recently. I'm just loving all the Gothic jams for this. Very, very excited to read that one. Plus, it's a nice size. Some books are intimidatingly large. I'm looking at you, Stephen King. We have a book that has been gifted to me by the fabulous, is this Tor Nightfire? Yes, it is Tor Nightfire. This is Pinata by Leopoldo. I'm so sorry. Is it Leopoldo Gout? I'm not sure. I'm terrible at pronouncing names. Another awesome cover, I have to say. Really, really like this. It was supposed to be the perfect summer. Carmen Sanchez is back in Mexico supervising the renovation of an ancient abbey. Her daughters, Iselle and Luna, too young to be left alone in New York, join her in what Carmen hopes is a chance for them to connect with their roots. Then an accident at the worksite unearths a stash of rare century-old artifacts. The disaster costs Carmen her job, cutting the family trip short, but something malevolent and unexplainable follows them home to New York, stalking the Sanchez family and heralding a coming catastrophe. And it may already be too late to escape what's been awakened. Dun dun dun! Okay, next up I've got like a little charity shop find. It is this cool beaten vintage copy of Red Dragon by Thomas Harris. As everyone knows, this is the prequel to The Silence of the Lambs. And I had to get this cover. It was 50p and I love these old pulp covers. I'll read the blurb just in case anybody's never read or seen Red Dragon. Thoroughly recommend it. If you had, oh my god, Rafe Fiennes in that movie. Oh, terrifying. A psychopath is at large, a monster in the grip of some unimaginable delusion compounded of sexual hunger, demonic violence and sinister logic. A boastful killer who sends the police teasing notes signed the Red Dragon. So they call in Special Agent Will Graham, the one man with the gift to get into the monster's mind, the one man who can imagine what the madman feels and can anticipate his next act. Red Dragon is quite probably the most suspenseful, terrifying and utterly compelling thriller ever written. Next we have a gifted book from Head of Zeus. It's another crime thriller called The Monk. It's in a big chunker one. I love a hardback. Okay. The detective. D.S. George Cross has always wondered why his mother left him when he was a child. Now she is back in his life, he suddenly has answers. But this unexpected reunion is not anything he's used to dealing with. When a disturbing case lands on his desk, he is almost thankful for the return to normality. The question. The body of a monk is found savagely beaten to death in a woodland near Bristol. Nothing is known about Brother Dominic's past. How can Cross unpick a crime when they don't know anything about the victim? And why would someone want to harm a monk? The past. Discovering who Brother Dominic once was only makes the picture more puzzling. He had no enemies, or at least none that are obvious, but looking into his past reveals that he was a very wealthy man, that he sacrificed it all for his faith. For a man who has nothing, it seems strange that greed could be the motive for his murder, but greed is a sin after all. I got a really cute PR package for this one from Head of Zeus, which included locally made honey. Not, I suppose they didn't make the honey, the bees made the honey, but they locally, you know what I mean. And it was designed to look like it came from the abbey because Brother Dominic, our victim, kept bees. So yeah, I thought that was a really truly innovative and original PR package. Next up we have a Witchy book gifted to me by Liminal 11. I love Liminal 11. I love being on their PR list. Their stuff is so beautiful. Their books, their tarot decks. Oh, go check them out. I'll put the link down below. But anyway, this is the Astro Luna Journal, a self-exploration and empowerment through the moon and astrology. So, harness the power of the moon. Have you ever noticed how your confidence rises with the moon is in Leo? Does the moon in Pisces make you feel things more deeply? As the moon moves through each zodiac sign, she brings to light different areas of our lives, and now you can harness the moon's power to learn more about yourself. I am a big old hippie witch, and I'm totally into astrology and all sort of witchy vibes, and I just love things like this. Like, look at the illustrations as well. It's just absolutely gorgeous. So this is a journal so that you can kind of understand and learn about the moon, and then also kind of journal and document your own experiences. So I really love that, and the cover is just, oh. Next is a charity shop find for me, and this, when I say that I squealed with joy when I saw this, I mean it. I was in a charity shop, local charity shop. Now, anybody who does thrift store book finds, you'll know that finding decent horror is pretty tricky because it's not the genre that people typically read. You'll get a lot of crime thrillers, you get a lot of the kind of chick books. I don't mean that to sound as like as I did, but I'm not a fan of chick books, but you'll get a load of them, you know, the ones where people, like, somebody's dying of something and they fall in love and it's all very sappy. Not my cup of tea, but anyway. So when I saw this, I literally squealed. This was £1. Now, I haven't actually read Nosferatu by Joe Hill yet, but I definitely will be now. I have this stunning massive hardback edition. This, who's the publisher of this, because I absolutely love it, Orion Books. Love the cover. It was when I found this actually that I realized in the UK we are Nosferatu rather than Nosferatu, or I think it is in America. I'm not sure. Somebody can maybe correct me on that. But they realised because of our accents, regional differences, that that would sound more like Nosferatu. Young Victoria McQueen has a gift for finding things. A lost bracelet, a treasured photograph, answers to unanswerable questions. All she has to do is ride her bike through the Shorterway Bridge and she'll come out the other end wherever she needs to be, even if that's hundreds of miles away. Vic doesn't tell anyone about her unusual ability because she knows that no one will understand it. She doesn't understand it herself, and then she discovers she's not the only one with a special gift. There are others, like Charlie Manx, who takes children for rides in his 1938 Rolls-Royce Wraith with the Nosferatu vanity plate. Charlie drives his precious passengers away from all they've ever known, their families, their homes, even their own humanity. By the time they get where they're going, an astonishing secret place called Christmas Land, they've changed utterly. By the time they get out of the Wraith, they're truly Charlie's children, as unstoppable and insane as Manx himself. Only one kid ever escaped, Charlie Manx, a very lucky girl named Vic McQueen. But the end of that nightmare was just the beginning of another. Vic's first brush with Manx is lit the fuse on a life and death battle of wills, her magic pitted against his, a battle that explodes a quarter of a century later because now Manx has taken Vic's own son, and Vic McQueen is going to get him back or die trying. Where Black Stars Rise is another one that's been sent to me by Tor Nightfire. This is actually graphic novel. I don't read an awful lot of graphic novels and comic books, and I do think I should try to get into it more, so I'm quite excited to get things like this because it means I can try it without spending like money on something that I might not enjoy. But I do have to say I love the graphics of this. They've got a really cool kind of retro vibe about them, which I really appreciate. Amal Rombarden, a Lebanese immigrant and a therapist in training, finds herself out of her depth when her first client, Yasmin, a schizophrenic, is visited by a nightly malevolent presence that seems all too real. Yasmin disappears suddenly in the middle of treatment, seeking answers she can't find in therapy. Amal attempts to retrace her patient's last steps and accidentally slips through dimensions, ending up in Carcosa, realm of the King in Yellow. Can Amal save Yasmin? Are they both trapped forever? That's like such a cool storyline as well. Next we have The Brain Drips Yellow by Moor. This was actually part of the horror booktube Secret Santa, and it was kindly sent to me by Pax. Hope you're doing good, hun. In his debut novel, Moor delivers on his promise to leave his readers' minds twisted permanently. Deep within the confines of his sheltered delusion, Bill Butler is a loving father and husband and a successful corporate executive, but his reality is far different. Bill is estranged from his wife, detached from his daughter, and is a constant target of ridicule at his job. And he's on a straight path to a mental breakdown. Relate. Along his journey, he is introduced to a sadistic dwarf, a magician turned priest, and a suave demonic entity. But did he evoke this entity, or is it another manifestation of a deteriorating mind? The demon leads Bill into a surreal world that he refers to as the Scent World, a world where he is free to purge himself of his fears and satiate his deepest desires. But as Bill spirals into madness, the lines between reality and fantasy begin to blur. So I love horror that kind of treads that line between you know, the type of books that you read and you're like, did that happen, or was it in the protagonist's head? You know, is it genuinely ghosts? Is it genuinely demons? Or is somebody losing their mind? Are we watching this deterioration of this person's sanity? Next we have The Broken Darkness, a short story collection by Theresa Braun. Love this cover, all the gothic glam fun. In her debut collection, Theresa Braun explores the inner workings of the human heart and what it is we most desire: forgiveness, acceptance, love, fame, or merely to escape who we really are. Whether we are battling ghosts, demons, mythical monsters, the past, or other dimensions, we are really facing the deepest parts of ourselves. These 13 tales of horror and dark fantasy may seem to be a matter of good versus evil, but they are all in reflection of the hidden corners of the soul that are often shades of broken darkness. The characters in these stories must face their inner and outer terrors or else suffer the consequences. Another fantastic cover here by Tor Nightfire. I flippin' love this. It gives me Cthulhu vibes. It gives me... Has anybody seen that Glory horror movie, which is like a demonic glory hole? It sounds backcrop crazy, and it is, but it's fabulous. Okay, so this is Sister Maiden Monster by Lucy.A.Snyder. Fabulous cover, fabulous title. To survive, they must evolve. A virus tears across the globe, transforming its victims into nightmarish ways. As the world collapses, dark forces pull a small group of women together. Erin, once quiet and closeted, acquires an appetite for a woman and her brain. Why does forbidden fruit taste so good? Savannah, professional BDSM switch, discovers a new turn-on, committing brutal murders for her eldritch masters. And Mariva, plagued with chronic tumours, is too horrified to acknowledge her divine role in the coming apocalypse. And as her growths multiply, so too does her desperation. That sounds mental in all the most amazing ways. Very excited to read that. Next we have another Head of Zeus book I was kindly gifted. This is Death and the Conjuror by Tom Mead. Another stunning cover. I mean, look at that. An enthralling locked room murder mystery inspired by crime fiction of the golden age. 1936 London, a celebrity psychiatrist is discovered dead in his locked study. There seems to be no way a killer could have escaped unseen. There are no clues, no witnesses, and no evidence of the murder weapon. Stumped by the confounding scene, Inspector Flint, the Scotland Yard detective on the case, calls on retired stage magician turned part-time sleuth Joseph Spector. Spector has a knack for explaining the inexplicable, but even he finds that there is more to this mystery than meets the eye. As he and the inspector interview the colourful cast of suspects, they uncover no shortage of dark secrets or motives for murder. And when a second murder occurs, this time in an impenetrable elevator, they realise the crime wave will become even more deadly unless they can catch the culprit soon. So it's kind of like Agatha Christie, Jonathan Creek, those types of murder mysteries, which I do love a whodunit. And speaking of Agatha Christie, nice segue. Beautiful little thrifted copy of The Moving Finger by Agatha Christie. I love these little paperbacks. This was 75p back in the day, which you would not get a book for 75p nowadays. Brand new, am I right? Death strikes silently. The letter arrived. I remember at breakfast. It was a local letter with a typewritten address. I opened it before the two with London postmarks. Inside, printed words and letters had been cut out and gummed to a sheet of paper. For a minute or two, I stared at the words without taking them in, and then I gasped. At first, the malicious anonymous letters caused only terror, but then they bring about a death. The question is, who will be the next victim? Then we have The Undertaker's Daughter by John James Minster. Another great cover there. Gives me all the old school vibes. Don't play with dead things. That's pretty good advice. Anna Dingle is an introverted, socially inept 18-year-old raised in the family funeral home, and for some reason her classmate Timmy, the one in the band, likes her too. After a makeover from her best friend Naomi, Anna breaks away to see him perform live, but the leader of a band school clique attempts to assault Anna in the parking lot. Once the leader is released from jail, so begins an ever-widening maelstrom of cruel retribution, turning Anna and Timmy's summer of love into a nightmare. In an attempt to frighten the bullies into peace, Anna and Naomi experiment with recently revealed old Jewish magic, but this ancient Abrahamic ritual doesn't go as planned. The eldritch power Anna has unleashed takes dark and unexpected turns, endangering those she loves and forces her to decide who she is and who she wants to be. Never mess with ancient magic. Finally, another gorgeous book gifted to me by Liminal 11. This is called the Spiritus Mundi, Writings Born from the Occult. Now, this cover. Am I right? Heaven. Where does creativity come from? Artists and philosophers have long believed that their ideas had an otherworldly source. Dubbed Spiritus Mundi, or World Spirit, by occultist poet W.B. Yeats. The anthology dives into the creative wellspring, collecting new works by acclaimed authors and poets on topics ranging from the spiritual to the deeply personal. Liminal 11, I swear to God, check them out. Amazing. So that's it, guys. That's my massive book haul. I apologize. I am going to keep filming videos. I am going to keep uploading things. It's just going to be real sporadic. If you want to see more regular activity from me, head over to my Instagram where I do post most days. So if you could like and comment and subscribe and hit the bell button and do all that wonderful stuff that helps with the algorithm gods, I will see you next time. You know, whenever next time actually happens. Bye.